Hello and welcome to another episode of the Football Fignuts podcast. This is still season 8. This is episode 19. If you counted all of them, and if I counted them correctly, this is episode 330 overall. My name is Craig.
And I am the ghost of Britt.
And the ghost of Christmas future, is here. Finally, he has arisen from his
I have been
crypt.
sick for over a week.
That's not
so
fun
I
at all.
apologize. I apologize there was no episode last week, but it's because I was sick. I'm still sick, as you can hear, but I'm upright. And seeing as I can't go outside and be a part of society, I figure what is a better way to spend some time than talking football with my friend Craig.
I mean, that's a good time. It's a good time.
It's
especially
a good time.
if you're feeling better, that's all that matters.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, it's just this cold that just refuses to go away. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it does suck.
I haven't had one like this in a year, in years like this. But I digress. Let us start where we always start. Craig, what are you drinking tonight?
I just drank coffee because it is the middle of the day, and we planned this randomly, so I was slightly unprepared.
Yeah, this was kind of a, hey, let's see where you are. And Craig comes on and is like, hey, where are you? And I'm like, I'm upright. Let's do this before I pass out. So because I have been on a lot of medication, I am drinking diet soda. So this will be the sober podcast, but don't worry. Bro Year's Eve is coming. There will be plenty to drink later.
In a few days. That's right.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get right to it. Lots happened since we last talked. Craig, what have you got for a burning hot take this week?
So for me, burning hot take, I think I'll just ask the question I asked in our group chat a couple days ago, because I think it's interesting.
Okay.
I think it's an interesting question. So the following teams are officially out of the playoffs. Okay. The Jets.
All right.
The Patriots. The Browns. The Jaguars. The Titans. The Raiders. The Cowboys. The Giants. The Bears. The Saints, the Panthers, the Cardinals, and the 49ers. Out of all of those teams, who do you feel has the best chance to have a better season next year? And I don't mean go to the Super Bowl. I just mean make it to the playoffs.
Actually make a playoff appearance, yeah.
Yeah, even just the first round.
I'd have to say San Francisco. I know McCaffrey's been hurt all year. Played, 2 games?
Probably. We can ask Sean.
This team has dealt with his injuries before, and last year they made the Super Bowl with him missing time. So I was actually kind of shocked that San Francisco was as flat as they were this year. Their passing game has all of a sudden looked really anemic this year. So I'm shocked, and I think they bounce back next year. Part of me wants to say the Cowboys, because the Cowboys are the same thing, right? Oh, well, everybody got hurt. The Cowboys were bad before Dak got hurt. The Cowboys were bad before they shut down CeeDee Lamb this week. The Cowboys were bad. So I don't think that's part of it at all. I every time I say the Cowboys are going to be good, they're terrible. And every time I say they're going to be terrible, they seem to freaking pull it together. Do you remember 2 years ago? Or was it last season? It was the last season. I was like, I am putting money down preseason for the Cowboys to miss the playoff, and they won the fucking division.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't get it. So I'm not going to say I'm going to go with San Fran. And by me not saying the Cowboys, that means they will have a better year next year as well. But who do you got?
Yeah, I think if San Francisco can work out their kinks this year with receivers dropping passes and everyone being hurt and defensive players not wanting to play and leaving the field, I mean, they have, I think, the best chance out of all of them. My heart wants to say the Jaguars, because I want them to be good, and I thought they were going to be good this year, and they were highly disappointing. So I can't say the Jaguars. And I think the Cardinals are going to hit the reset button next year, because
I think Murray's gone. I think they're done with Murray.
Yeah, because did they give him a new contract? I don't remember.
Last year. Remember, there's all that talk about special. There was special film study.
That's right. He had a study and that's right.
Yeah, there was stipulations in it that people were calling the Call of Duty laws and shit.
I guess it helped. I mean, they were better-ish.
They were better, and they were in the conversation later. That's another team. They're 7-8, and I don't know how they're 7-8. They've lost games. I've just shook my head. I'm like, how did you lose this game?
Yeah, I mean, James Conner's having a record year for himself, but now he's hurt. So
Yeah, yeah, just in time for I'm in the finals in one league, and it's the money league that we do through our workplace.
yep,
It's like six, and when we say money league, it's not huge. It's like $600 for first place. So I'm
that's
like
good.
it's good money. It's not like, oh well, I'm out tens of thousands of dollars. This is like, oh, millionaires. None of that shit. Like you see with like the world championship, like $1,000 entry shit. It's none of that.
Yeah.
But this is the largest pool I'm in a home league this year, and I'm in the final. And all of a sudden, I'm looking at like I always double check like start and sits, and I'm looking at start and sit yesterday before the games. I was on Christmas and before the games, and it's like sit James Conner, and I'm like, why the hell am I sitting James Conner? What?
He's broken.
And it's like, oh, James Conner's got a knee injury, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, really?
Yeah, so now
Really?
because of that, I'm in the finals in our league, and I have to start Brees Hall because I can't trust James Conner to. I don't know if he's going to play or not, or even like he's going to play for like what, like a series.
Now the good news is I was accidentally very deep at running back in this one particular league, which is why I'm good at it. I've got Chase Brown and James Cook.
Me too. Did
So
we have
sitting
we have
him-
the same team?
Do you have Kyler Murray?
No.
Okay, so Kyler Murray is my quarterback, which is the other down part of this. So, and it's also a very thin bench. You only get 5 bench spots, so I
Ooh.
can't have a backup quarterback.
Ooh, that's
Yeah, no,
rough.
I'm like, there's no way. So, but I made the final because I decided going into the semifinal. I'm like, I'm gonna stream defenses, right?
Smart.
I got it. I love to stream defenses, and the freaking Falcons defense was available against the Giants. They were plus 27 in our format.
Nice.
It was like 4 turnovers, 2 defensive touchdowns. I'm like,
Yep.
I'm a freaking genius. I love it.
Yep. And one of those turnovers, it was directly Kyle Pitts' fault.
Oh my God, did you see that?
Yep. What's his name? Phoenix.
Yeah, Michael Penix.
He
He
threw
put it right in his hands.
He threw a dart at his middle of his hands, middle of his chest, and Kyle Pitts went bloop, and he just tossed it back
Yes!
to a defensive back interception.
Not only did he bobble it, but then he tipped it straight up so it hung in the air for about 3 seconds, which gave to the safety, who was 2 feet away, the perfect opportunity to just grab it and run.
Yep.
Like, dude, what are you doing?
Ugh, terrible.
Oh,
Terrible.
all right. On my side, it's time to start talking about playoffs.
Playoffs.
Playoffs. So, as of this moment, this is December 27th, 2024. As of this moment, the Chiefs are in and they've locked up the 1 seed. All is well with the world.
Yep.
The Bills, Ravens, Texans, and Steelers are all in.
Yep.
That means there are 2 spots left. They are currently occupied by the Chargers and Broncos. And if you told me before this season started that there was going to be 3 teams from the AFC West in the playoff race this week, I would have thought you were nuts. So on the bubble are still the Colts, Dolphins, and Bengals. Now
Yep.
the Bengals play the Broncos this week.
It's going to
So
be
this
huge.
is the Bengals have to win to stay in the conversation.
Yes.
The Colts are playing the Giants.
I mean,
Was that game? What was the other game that happened? Or that was no. This is week 17 starting. Yeah, okay. I'm just making sure. Yeah. So week 17, we've only had 2 games, three games, 3 games played, right?
yes.
We had Chicago last night.
Yep.
Uh,
The Chiefs
Jeez,
played
I'm
on
looking for
Christmas.
the Chiefs beat the Steelers. The Texans,
The Texans
beat-
lost to. No, they lost, didn't they?
they lost. Jeez, this is how sick I've been. I don't even know who's okay. It's right in front of me. Hold on. I've got a ticker up here. Baltimore beat Houston, and Seattle beat Chicago. Okay, so the Seattle-Chicago game is irrelevant. The Chief game is irrelevant because they've locked up their playoff spot now. The Steelers are probably going to be they're locked into like pretty much the 5 seed at this point because they're not going to be able to win the division after that loss. I don't think they're still a game behind the Ravens, but they're now a game behind the Ravens. My question for you:
Yeah.
Colts, Dolphins, Bengals. If anybody is going to sneak by the Chargers and Broncos into that 6 or 7 spot, which one is it?
Oh, see, now I have to give the biased answer.
Well, the Bengals, they've got to win out.
They have to win out, and the Broncos have to lose, and the Colts have to lose. So the Bengals
Yeah,
have to win the
Colts
next
are,
3 games, and I think the Broncos and the Colts have to lose at least 1 game.
so I think they would have the okay. So if they win out, they're 9-8. The
Yep.
Broncos lose out, they're 9-8, but they would have the head-to-head over the Broncos. So, question is, what I have no idea what the tiebreakers look like at this point. I'm just looking at
I
a
don't
sheet
either.
with all the numbers on it. Okay, but you think the Bengals can do it? That's even a better question. Did the Bengals pull this off?
They've been playing a lot better the last 3 weeks, so I mean, there's a chance. I mean, I admit it's a very small chance, but there's a chance they could do it. The Dolphins, I feel like the Dolphins team is being held together with duct tape, and at any point in time, it could just all fall apart. Especially if Tua gets hurt again, then it's over.
I agree.
And the Colts, I don't know how the Colts won 7 games.
But they're playing the Giants this week.
They're playing the Giants this week. Are they playing? Oh, they're playing in New York, so there's a good chance that someone could break their ankle, like in the first play, because that stadium's terrible.
Oh, jeez. That stadium is notoriously bad. Notoriously bad.
Yeah.
All right, let's look at the other side really quick. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and the Dolphins, they're playing. What's their schedule? They're playing in Cleveland. Where's stupid schedule, NFL?
And then where are they week 18?
That's what I was looking for. Schedule.
We'll do it live.
All right, there we go. All right, so they're playing in Cleveland.
Uh-huh.
And then they are going to week 18. Thank you, giant pop-up ad. Wow. And then they're playing the Jets back in New York.
That's the Dolphins?
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers' final game?
Yep. It will be, but the Dolphins playing 2 games and not in a warm,
On the road
and not a warm spot. It's a disadvantage for them. So we'll see.
So I think if they're probably losing one of those 2 games and probably looking at it best 8 and 9. Mm-hmm. So who do the Colts have in week 18? There's your problem. You need the Colts to lose a game.
They are playing the Jaguars at home.
Oh no.
Yeah. Poor Jaguars.
So then you're looking at a possibility, assuming the Bengals win out. So let's play this out. Assume this happens. The Bengals win out, the Colts win out, but the Chargers and Broncos, the Chargers are playing New England this week. The Chargers aren't losing to New England. So they're going to go to 10 wins.
Yep.
Okay. Sorry, Cinch and Source. That's just not going to happen. So that's going to lock up a spot. So there's going to be one spot for 3 teams, Broncos, Colts, and Bengals.
Yep.
Are going to be fighting for one spot.
Yep.
Which means now we got to look at the tie-breaking procedures.
Because then at week 18, the Chiefs are playing the Broncos and the Chargers are playing the Raiders.
The Chiefs have nothing to play for. Nothing.
No, so it gives the Broncos a good chance because I'm assuming the Chiefs are going to sit people who don't have contract incentives.
Yes. I would not be surprised if they sit people starting this week. I wouldn't say they're going to sit everybody, but I wouldn't expect to see Patrick Mahomes next week.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you? I mean, there's just nothing to play for. All right, so if three or more clubs head-to-head best win-loss tie percentage in games among the clubs. So if the Broncos, Colts, and Bengals, did the Bengals play the Colts this year? They're in different divisions.
Yeah, I don't think they did.
Did the Colts play the Broncos?
Don't know.
I'm looking to try and find that out. If you haven't figured out, folks, this is a very laid-back episode this week. Where's their scores? Where's their results? Full schedule. Looking to see if they had the Colt game. They did. They beat the Colts. So the Colts would be 0-1. The Bengals would be 1-0, and the Broncos would be 1-1 because they would have split.
Yep.
Which means that would be the Bengals. It's head-to-head best one-loss tied percentage. The Bengals would be at 100%, the Colts would be at 0, and the Broncos would be at 50%. That's their way in.
Yeah.
They have to win out. If they win out and the Broncos lose out, then it does not matter what the Colts do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. If I'm reading this right, and it's possible I'm not, so really quickly, just look at the other side of the board. Basically, the entire NFC North, except for the freaking Bears, are in. The Lions, Eagles, Vikings,
did anyone
and Packers.
Did anyone check on Sean?
I have not talked to him today, but he did check in last night. I think he's resigned himself. He's resigned himself to his fate. He's okay.
Maybe
he's going to be
Carroll,
okay.
Maybe Pete Carroll will come and save them.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you make of that whole thing, by the way? There was like
I'm very confused. I'm very confused about the whole, like, how it started. And I'm not really a big fan of that show. So I didn't really pay that much attention of it.
I'm sorry, you cut out there for a second. You're not a fan of what?
I said I'm not really a fan of that show that Schaefer was arguing with.
Oh, Pro Football?
Yeah.
Pro Football Focus? Yeah. Yeah, PFF is eh.
So
for those who don't know, sorry, I went for the cough button. I was late. Mike Florio put out a tweet saying that sources are well-known sources, he said, are reporting that Pete Carroll is interested in the Bears coaching job. And Adam Schefter responded something to the effect of, this is false information. Keep guessing like you always do, blah, blah, blah. Some people were like, whoa, we got beef here? What? I think Schefter was poking at him because Schefter was the one he was citing. Schefter had already come out and said in a separate tweet that he had heard that Carroll was interested. And I think he was mildly annoyed that Florio didn't just say, per Adam Schefter from ESPN, here's the report. Instead, he was like, well-known media, blah, blah, blah. And I think that rubbed Schefter the wrong way, or maybe they know each other and that's just something they do. I have no idea. But for a moment there, everybody was like, are we going to have freaking Twitter beef over Pete Carroll?
Imagine that.
You know, it felt weird. It was awkward. At the absolute least, it was awkward. But the bulk of it is Pete Carroll might be interested in being the Bears head coach. And I'm not sure that's a great idea.
I guess
I don't know.
I guess it depends. I guess it depends on what they let him do, like how much control they give him.
Yeah.
But I feel bad. Like the Bears had a winning record with Lovie Smith, and they're like, "No, you're terrible." And the last four
all
coaches,
we did was make the NFC Championship.
The last four coaches they've had combined have not won as many games as he did.
Yeah. I mean, all they did was make a Super Bowl under him and then lose to Peyton Manning.
Yeah. You know what?
I'm pretty sure that was the Lovie Smith Super Bowl.
I think you know what's sad? I completely forget that the Bears were in the Super Bowl. It
was like 10, 15 years ago.
I know, and it wasn't that long ago. Oh man.
I think wasn't Jay Cutler the quarterback?
I believe he was.
No, not the one they won. I want to see Bears Super Bowl appearances. 2007, 17 years ago. They lost 17-29. Rex Grossman was the quarterback.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God. Sorry. I can't laugh. If I laugh, I'm going to cough. And if I cough, it's terrible. I'm looking at, and that game, don't forget, that game started off with a Bears touchdown. Was that,
Did it?
Wait, was that first quarter? Yes. Devin Hester had a 92-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yep.
You know, oh my God, that's freaking funny. They were up 14-6 in the fourth quarter.
They were?
And then all of a sudden, yes.
Oh.
Muhsin Muhammad had a 4-yard touchdown catch after a Reggie Wayne touchdown. It was 14-6 after the first quarter, and then the Colts scored 16 unanswered points.
It's called Peyton Manning.
And it was 22-14. And then Robbie Gould made a kick, and then there was an interception return. They were down. So the Bears were down 22-17 in the fourth quarter when Grossman threw a pick six that sealed it.
Oh man.
Yep. Unbelievable.
Yet believable.
Yeah. It's the receiving leader for the Bears in that game was Desmond Clark, the tight end.
Wow.
Names
from the past.
I can't even. Joseph Adai was in that game.
I forgot about him.
Anyway, I'm getting us way off track. All right, let's move forward because we wanted to keep this a quick episode. Let's do America's Favorite Game. So we haven't done this in a while. Why? Because America's Favorite Game focuses on over-unders because over-unders were a good predictor of fantasy points because fantasy points are based on real points. Who knew? And so we look at the over-unders and we try to avoid using fantasy players in games that are under 40 and try to maximize using players that are over 50. Now, somebody said to me a couple weeks ago, but my stud's on one of those teams that like Breece Hall and the Jets stink, so they're always under. You still use your studs. But, you know, when I'm looking to make a DFS lineup or I got a tough choice to make, if I'm in a favorable matchup, I use a favorable matchup. So yeah. The last couple of weeks have been bare because Vegas has been like, oh, everybody's scoring. I don't know what the hell everybody's doing. Just give everybody like 43 over under. Let's just do that. This week, we have 4 games under 40 and 2 games over 50. Craig, where do you want to start this week? You get 3 strikes in each category, and strikes carry over if you don't use them. Do you want to start with the 4 unders or the 2 overs?
Let's go with the overs.
All right, what do you got?
And it's over 50, right? Right.
Yes, there are 2 games. One is exactly 50, and the other one is 50 and a half. So these are close.
All right, they're close. Man, all these games suck.
Yeah, I think you're gonna. I think the unders are gonna be easier than the overs. I think.
All right, let's go Detroit, San Francisco.
Absolutely, that's a 50 and a half. That's the highest over under of the week. If you've got to be told at this point in the season to use people from Detroit, San Francisco, the San Francisco can't stop anything. I mean, it's just I don't understand what's happened to the defense there. So that's one. What's the other one?
It's definitely not Tennessee and Jacksonville. Let's go Green Bay, Minnesota.
No, incorrect. Green Bay, Minnesota is, wait for it, off of my screen. Where did you go?
I don't know.
No, don't show me spread. Show me over under. Green Bay, Minnesota is a 48 and a half.
Oh, all right.
So that is strike the one.
Okay. All right, let's go with a game that matters. Let's go Denver, Cincinnati.
That is absolutely correct. That is a 50. And you see where Vegas is going this week. Okay, well, the Cincy defense hasn't been really good, and Denver's defense and their coach is offensive, and both teams need to win this game, and both teams have a ton of offensive weapons, so they're going to break 50. The thinking on this is very simple this week.
Yeah.
It's teams that don't give a shit are going to be under 40. So Craig is correct. So Denver, Cincy, Detroit, San Francisco. Listen, if you're playing DFS, if you have the opportunity to load up on Denver, Cincy, that's going to be I think that's going to be a shootout.
Yeah, especially if Cincinnati's defense doesn't show up as it usually doesn't.
And Denver's defense isn't great. It's good. It's not great.
I would say Joe Burrow is better than Denver's defense, if that makes sense.
Agreed. Agreed. All right, so you got 4 games under, and you got a bonus strike.
Okay. Wow. Let's go. How many unders are there? 4, you said?
4.
Oh, Lord. Okay, let's go Tennessee, Jacksonville.
39 and a half. Absolutely correct. Why I would not use a single player in these games. There's nobody to use on either side of that ball.
I mean, I have to use Calvin Ridley, but that's about it. That's all I got.
That's fair enough. But that one absolutely correct. 3 more.
Ooh. Let's go. I feel weird saying this one, but because the quarterback is injured, let's go Dallas, Philly.
That's a 30.
Wow. All because Jalen Hurts has a concussion. Wow.
Because Jalen Hurts is, I'm sorry, 38. I miswrote that. I thought it said 30. It said 30.
Even still.
That's still 38 points. If preseason, go back to August and say to me, Britt, that game's going to be a 38. I'd be like, is everyone dead? Did Saquon retire? Did A.J. Brown take up farming? Is Jerry Jones the quarterback?
Pretty much.
But I mean, it's like that is a shockingly low number. The Eagles, I don't know if the Eagles are locked into their spot. Are they?
I think
they're 12 and 3. They're technically a game behind the Lions.
But I think they still have a spot, though. They might drop down.
If they won out, if they won, well, no, because the Rams are leading the NFC West at 9 wins. They're no worse than the 2 seed because they've already locked the division.
Oh.
They can't lose the division, but they could, in theory, if the Lions lost their last 2 games and went 13-4, the Eagles could go 14-3 and be the 1 seed in theory. But do we really think the Lions are going to lose to San Francisco? I mean,
anything's possible, but no. The thing with the Lions is their defense is really banged up, so we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles might be sitting there saying there's no way we're going to fight for this 1 seed, so let's do what we need to do. Let's just get through these last 2 games without any injuries. We've already Hurts, got to rest Hurts. There is no reason. What's the latest on Hurts?
He's still in concussion protocol.
Let him stay there. Let him stay there until the playoffs. If he clears tomorrow, he holds a clipboard.
Yeah.
There is no good reason for him to start these games. None. Okay, so that's correct. So you got Dallas, Philly, you got Tennessee, Jacksonville. There's 2 more. You still have all 4 of your strikes here.
Oh boy. Let's go Colts Giants.
No, that is a strike.
Oh.
Colts Giants, which actually makes a lot of sense, is a 40.5.
Oh, I was close.
40.5. There are actually 2 games worse than that. One of which I'm shocked has not jumped off the page at you yet.
That could be so many. Let's go Panthers Bucks.
That's a really good one, but no.
Oh man.
Panthers, that's strike 2. Panthers Bucks is a 48 actually, because I think the Bucks are technically not in the playoffs yet. They're on the bubble right now because they lost. They're 8-7, so they need to win. So they're actually playing for something.
All right.
So you got 2 more strikes and 2 games there.
All right, let's go with the game I mentioned before because it's in the cold. Let's go Miami Cleveland.
That's a 39.5.
There we
That's
go.
a 39.5. Yep, absolutely true. I would not touch that game either unless I had to. Well, I've got Tyreek Hill. Yep, start your studs. But other than that, I wouldn't touch it.
Oh man, these other 3 games. See, I don't want to pick the Jet Buffalo game because I feel like Buffalo can score 40 points by themselves.
Buffalo, though, has nothing to play for now. Or no, they do.
They do.
The Ravens are only a game behind.
Yeah. So technically they do.
They need, if they lose this game, they can close out the Ravens with a win this week, I think.
All right.
We still have 2 strikes. You're saying there's only 3 games we haven't guessed?
Well, there's 4 games, I guess, technically.
Okay.
All right, let's go with the Raiders Saints.
That's correct, 37.5.
All
That's
right.
the one I was shocked and jumped. No one cares. The Raiders and Saints don't care about this game.
No, they just have to. They're contracted. They're obligated by contract to show up and play this game.
Contractually
There you go. That is the word I was looking for and could not say. Thank you.
Spencer Rattler. Everybody on the Saints is hurt. Kamara's questionable. Their leading receiver is Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and he's questionable.
Yeah.
Olave and Shaheed are both on the IR. Taysom Hill, IR.
Yeah.
Everyone's dead.
Yep.
No one cares.
They just have to get both of these teams just have to get past the next 2 weeks and they can go home.
That's it. That's all they want.
Yep.
This has not gone the way we had thought it was going to go. It's time. It's okay.
It's time.
It's okay. It's time to just, sing a song like the end of a bad musical, pack up your locker, and just go home. But hey, Craig, you just won America's favorite game.
All right, go me. I haven't played in a while.
Congratulations.
Cool.
Congratulations.
And there was a lot to pick.
There was 7 picks. That was pretty good. But I also think that talks about how straightforward some of these picks were. Some of these games are really bad.
Out of curiosity, what is the line on the Jet Buffalo game?
Hold on. I still have it up on my screen. I'm just going to find it. 46.
Oh, all right.
What's the actual line, though? What's the spread there? Because that'll tell us what the anticipated final is. 10. So 23-5 each way. So that's 18-28. Am I doing that right?
Yeah.
What did I say it was? 48?
You know what's bananas is the Jets.
46, no.
The Jets defense is ranked 4th.
Yeah. So Vegas is saying the anticipated final in that game is 28-18. It's a 10-point line with a 46 over under.
Oh.
28-18. They think so. The Jets only scored 18 points, is what they're saying.
As a comparison, the Jets offense is ranked 23rd, and the Bills defense is ranked 7th. The Jets defense is ranked 4th, and the Bills defense is ranked 20th. Go figure.
I think I would be surprised if the Bills didn't put 30 up on the Jets. I know the Jets defense is good, as you just cited. I would be surprised if they didn't hang 30 points on them to just kind of make it clear they're going to be the 2 seed.
Yeah.
They've got to be pissed. They beat the team that squeaked by everybody else, and that team that squeaked by everybody else just locked up the 1 seed. They've got to be pissed. They know they can beat the Chiefs, but now they've got to play an extra week.
That's true. I mean, the last time they played in October, the Bills only won by 3.
But the Chiefs didn't look right. This Chiefs every freaking year, the Chiefs do this in the Mahomes era. Their defense looks like a bunch of guys who have never seen a football before for the first 10 weeks. And then all of a sudden, it starts to like just come together. Chris Jones was out on Christmas Day and the defense looked phenomenal. George Karlaftis was everywhere.
And your offensive tackle is, at this point, it's just a running joke.
What you want?
Taylor?
I don't even say his name. Yeah,
Thomas
Taylor.
Yeah,
Taylor. It's
it's just a running joke between the like blatant like wrestling type holding and like the false starts. Like it's bananas. And I know like if they called all of his offenses, his penalties, they would probably never finish a game.
What scares me is that they keep putting him out there, which means the guy behind him in the depth chart is worse.
That's kind of scary.
This guy led the NFL, not the team, not offensive tackles, the NFL in penalties last year. He had 17 penalties in the regular season. That is 1 per game.
Yes, or multiple in one game.
You show me anybody else who averages a penalty per game and it's not only still has a job the next year, but is starting.
That's a valid point.
And I would be shocked. It is not. My wife now knows who Juwan Taylor is. That's.
It's just comical at this point.
Really yeah, is. I mean, I wanna buy his jersey just to Oh, by the way, I have a terrible history with that. Yeah. Every time I buy a jersey for a jersey, with the exception of Mahomes is the only jersey I own of a Chief that has lasted more than a year. Every other Chiefs jersey I have is somebody who was gone the next year. Tony Gonzalez, Dwayne Bowe, Trent Green.
Forgot about Dwayne Bowe. How's he doing?
Yep.
Is he still alive?
Oh, he banged the drum. He banged the drum on Christmas.
Oh, good.
He opened the game. Yeah,
oh, good.
Yeah, he opened the game. So he's alive. He's alive. I'm living his best life, I hope. Yeah.
Good.
Anyway.
Good.
Okay. Let's do some quick value plays and then get out of here for the holiday. So my DFS has been miserable the last 2 weeks. I cannot put 2 decent lineups together. You had a really great lineup this week. Talk a little bit about that 170 lineup you put together.
Wait, let me go back and open it. Hold on. Yes, why do you always have to ask me where I am, DraftKings, for the love of God?
Because they are convinced that you are in a state that is illegal and you were using a VPN. You are routing your internet through Malaysia into New York so that it looks like you're in New York, but you're actually sitting in Tennessee. And they are absolutely petrified that the federal government will figure it out before they do, and they will come for their ass.
So that lineup, so this is the lineup I did, and I read different DFS people and kind of like, oh, this all sounds good. So I used 3 Bears because
wow.
I know because they were playing Detroit and it's a divisional game. And again, those are always weird. So I did have, I had Williams in, DJ Moore and Keenan Allen, your favorite player.
So your lineup was betting on the passing game.
Yes.
Because you knew they were going to have to throw against Detroit.
Yes.
That's a good matchup based call.
I did use Jahmyr Gibbs because the Giants defense as well. The Bears defense is the Bears defense. I had Barkley in and Sam Laporta and James Cook, who just had a humongous game against New England that week. My God. So he had like 30.6 points.
Quick side story, James Cook. So I'm in that semifinal of the league I was talking about earlier, and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm watching the Bills game. And my wife is like, my wife tries to support my love of fantasy football. She hates football. It's just not a sport she enjoys. And she's like, so is there anybody in this game that we're watching for? And I'm like, the guy with the dreads on Buffalo, James Cook. I need him to score a touchdown. And she's like, okay. And literally they snapped the ball, and that was like his 50-yard touchdown run.
Yep. Nice.
And she looks at me after it finishes. She watches the entire play. She sees his name come up on the screen just to verify in her own mind, I'm sure that she's talking about the right guy. Looks back at me and goes, that guy? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, now if he can do that again this week.
Yeah, if he could do that this week, that would be very, very useful because Connor's out. So, all right, I'm sorry. Finish your lineup.
And then the cold chills on my lineup because between Barkley and Gibbs and even like more, like I didn't have a lot of money. So I picked the Titans defense that week because I was like the Colts aren't that good, and that's when Taylor decided to remember he was a running back. So they gave me -1 point. And to round it out, I had Kendrick Bourne in because I needed another receiver, and he was cheap. And he only had 18 yards and 2 receptions. So,
wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. Well done. That scored you 170 points, and that's pretty good. This week, I'm looking at. We're also looking at a slightly reduced game slate because we've had 3 games play already. Mm-hmm. And don't forget, folks, we have games on Saturday this week. So, we've got to, yeah. I'm looking at it, and there's some guys that interest me. Sam Darnold. I hate to say I'm going to want to use Sam Darnold, but he's only 6,400, and it's a game they need to win against Green Bay, but it's against Green Bay. If I want to go cheap, I could go Mason Rudolph, but I think I'm done trusting anyone in Tennessee with anything.
Yeah.
So
there's always Kenny Pickett. Someone has to throw the ball in Philly.
Yeah, I mean, he could. I mean, if I want to go with the safe route, it's gonna be Baker Mayfield against Carolina. But I think that game's actually going to be a lot of ground game. So I'm probably going to end up using a little bit of Sam Darnold this week. What do you like this week at quarterback?
This way, I'm going on the other side of the ball. So I do like Jordan Love. He's 6,200. Minnesota's pass defense, they typically play a lot of zone defense. So that usually works pretty well for quarterbacks. So I like him there. If you want to pay, well, who else is here? I don't really like anyone else. I mean, if you want to go super cheap, you can pick Kenny Pickett at 5,500. He didn't do a terrible job with what's his name, with Brown, like receiving. So that's not a terrible choice, and the Cowboys aren't good. But I'm probably sticking with Jordan Love.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Jordan Love's not a bad choice there at all. Okay, my computer just had some sort of reset issue here. Hold on a second. Here we go. Okay, so running backs, like I said, I think Tampa is going to be a more running game, so I'm really liking Bucky Irving at 6,700. But if I want to go a little cheaper, Alex Jones is only 6,200. I like that a lot. Jerome Ford, also 5,900, is really interesting to me because I think Craig's right. I don't think Miami's nearly as good as people want them to be. So there's some interesting choices at running back. Who do you like at running back this week?
I do like Ford playing Miami, especially at home. I've checked the weather for that game, but it'll probably be more conducive to Cleveland. Excuse me. Barkley. I mean, you can pay for Barkley, but he's $8,600, and that will not leave you much room for really anyone else.
That's the problem. They're probably going to lean on Barkley a lot. Barkley's going to probably have a big day, but
he's expensive.
And if he shows the slightest twinge of I might be hurt, they're going to yank his ass because they need him for the playoffs.
Yep, exactly. You know, Jonathan Taylor's playing the Giants. I really think that field hurts at least 2 people every week, so I don't know. And then, I do like Bucky Irving, and that's pretty much it. I don't like Rico Dowdle this week.
No, I'm avoiding Dallas at all costs at this point in the year. I'm just done with them. In wide receivers, McMillan's only 4,600, but again, I think that game's going to be much more of a ground game. You know who I really like at 4,800 is Josh Downs from Indy, because the Giants give up a lot of yardage through the air. And he's, again, 4,800 is not bad. So I might use him and then just kind of go studs the rest of the way. Who do you like at wide receiver this week?
Wide receiver this week, I'm looking for people who are like middle of the road, like not super expensive.
Yeah.
Like, there's Jefferson and there's AJ Brown, but they're expensive. AJ Brown is he hurt his knee, but he's been practicing, so I don't know how hurt he is. I'm assuming he's going to play, but
right.
You never know.
At this point in the year, you have to be really careful, particularly with teams like Philly. As we said, Philly has the potential to move up, but it's unlikely. So they're going to be balancing risk versus reward very carefully, because they are going to need these guys for the playoff run, whether they get the bye or not.
Yeah. So like I'm kind of going mid-tier people like Myers, Ridley, and Wilson, because their salaries are between 6,100 and 5,500. So they kind of save you money, and if you do it right, maybe you could use Barkley if you use them.
Yeah, fair enough. Tight ends, I don't know.
Pick one.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm looking at TJ Hawkinson, but he's all the way up at 4,500. You could use Tucker Kraft at 3,900, but he's questionable. I don't know if he's going to play. I'm sorry, I can't take any more Titans. Okonkwo's there. I'm even considering Jawan Johnson, 3,500, but it's a game that nobody cares about, including Jawan Johnson. What I literally might do, and I'm not joking when I say this, I might fill out my entire lineup, and whatever I have left at tight end, I'm just going to use at tight end, because there's just no real good play here. All the good tight end's been a real hit or miss position this year in DFS, and I just this week I don't see where I can make a value play and be okay with it.
Yeah, no, I agree completely.
It's just bad.
It's bad. It's been messy. It's been messy.
Yeah, it really has been. Messy's probably the best word for it. I mean, I'm looking at the projected points. Oh, well, Brock Bowers is $6,700.
Yeah, there's honestly the only tight end that's been consistent in the last like 5 weeks is Jonnu Smith, and because of that, he's $5,700.
That's it. He's been creeping up. Do you buy into the Dalton Kincaid usage? They used him a little bit more last week. He was targeted a little bit more, but they're going to be playing it. They're going to be playing at home in the rain.
Yeah,
I think this is going to be a ground game in Buffalo this week, like largely a ground game, at least on the Buffalo side of the ball. I mean, Allen will do what he has to do, but I mean, I don't know. We've reached a point where, again, risk versus reward. How much do you want to leave Josh Allen out there in a game that doesn't mean anything? If they go up by 2 touchdowns, do you pull Josh Allen in the second half?
I guess yeah, but I bet he won't want to. I bet he'll just say no and stay in the game if he's not hurt.
Yeah, I mean but I mean if you're reaching that point of the year where you've gotta really consider, the health of your guys. I mean this is where becoming a 17 game season kind of comes into play. This should have been the last week of the season coming up, and it's not, because they added an extra game to the regular season, and now it's just a different thing. So, but believe it or not, we're out of time.
It goes by fast.
It does. We will be off schedule again next week because New Year's Day falls. There's no way I'm recording on New Year's Day.
Britt will still be asleep at this time.
There is 0% chance I get up and I can record on New Year's Day. 0%. So we'll probably have to do a late episode, but I'm back to work on the 2nd. Sucks. But we'll figure it out. But let's move on to final thoughts. What's your final thought for the last episode of 2024?
Last episode of the year. It's kind of crazy. Thank you for coming along this ride this season. There's still another week. Yeah. I mean, there's another week of DFS, but this is the week for season long. What do you call it? Season long game. So I'm in a final. Britt's in a final. In different leagues though. So it should be interesting. And I will say don't overthink your lineup, because you do that. That happened to me last week on a DFS lineup. I made the lineup. I was happy with it. And then I opened the app again. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to change it. And I shouldn't have changed it. Don't overthink things.
Lesson learned. Don't overthink.
Yeah.
My final thought is just as we're going into New Year's Eve, just the general reminder, be safe out there, guys. Don't be that guy that goes out and drinks too much and then tries to drive himself home. Craig and I will be attending a party on New Year's Eve day because I'm too old to be out on New Year's Eve these days. So, and in that party, I will Uber. I will be Ubering to and from. And I will do so because I know I'm going to have a few drinks and I want to be safe. So be safe out there and don't assume that everyone is as cautious as you are. There are going to be some folks on the road who are not going to take the same level of precaution. So just be careful and enjoy a very happy new year. So that's it for 2024 for us. We'll be back next week so that we can look at the last week of the season for DFS purposes because season long will be completely over at that point, and start looking ahead to the NFL playoffs. So as always, the best thing you can do is leave us a review wherever you found us. We would really appreciate it. Whatever podcast directory you found us on, leave us a review. Also, if you want to reach out to us, we are fignutsdfs@gmail.com. And we are also the Football Fignuts Podcast on Facebook. And that is a wrap on 2024. Craig, go enjoy some time with your cousin. I will see you at the brewery next week.
Sounds like a plan.
All right, folks. Until I speak to you guys next, my name is Britt.
I'm Craig.
And we are the Football Fignuts Podcast. Oh, and hi, Deb.